Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We are SpeciallyAble Cohousing Community. We are parents just like you. Thank you for joining today. You are here because you have someone that you love who's a special needs child, or you know of someone that's caring for one. We are an intentional, inclusive, multi-generational community for people with disabilities and their loved ones. Thank you for joining today. So my name is Shailu. I'm from Portland, Oregon. My son Ajay is 24 and he's a special needs child. And today we are going to talk about our the existence of Specially Abled, how it came into being, our journey, and our vision, and our design plan with you guys. So stay tuned. This is going to be in two parts. I'm going to be talking about the journey, and Rajesh is going to talk about the co-housing community that we are trying to build.
Thank you, Shailu. My name is Rajesh. I live in Brentwood, California. Moved here about 2.5 years ago, coming from Chicago after living there for almost 28 years. My wife, Rajita, and I, and our son, RK, who is 21 years old, on the autism spectrum, nonverbal. We came here, and gosh, I really wish we had done this a lot longer time ago. But we'll tell you a little bit about our journey, and I'm going to pass this back to Shailu.
All right, thank you, Rajesh. So we are a group of parents, just like you guys, and what keeps us up at night, I'm sure keeps you all awake as well. So here is what kept us awake all of these years. What happens when my child is no longer in school? Where will he live when he no longer wants to live with us? Or how will my kid live after us? This is a big one. This keeps us awake every day, even if we have a plan that we are working on right now. So what is going to happen to my child when I'm no longer around or able to care for him or her? What kind of setting will ensure that he can have an appropriately fulfilling life? How can we work towards ensuring a secure place for my child in a safe setting? So these are our worries, and I think those are yours too. So the key guiding principles when we came together and started wanting to build a community is that we cannot solve this as individual families. We need to build a community and do this together. And we definitely want to play an active role in helping our kids become independent by living closer to them. We did not want to drop off our child at a place very far from us and not being able to be there for them when they needed us the most. We also wanted to build a community that was inclusive, which would be multi-generational and intentional with the participation from family and friends. So the future needs of our specially able, the key dimensions we found out while we were on this journey is that we had to figure out housing. Where will my specially abled live? Food and clothing, who will take care of the nutritional care, clothing, and daily needs of these kids when we are gone? Healthcare, how will she receive the right medical, dental, vision, and other care while we are there and when we are gone as well? And the supports our kids will need. Some of our kids need a little bit of care, some need 24/7 care. So we found out quickly that not just solving for housing, we have to be thinking about all these things and the expenses that we would run into to take care of all these needs as well. So when we started, we had absolutely no idea what was out there, and we definitely didn't want to reinvent the wheel. So we looked at Autism Housing Network. That was our first starting point. And we found out that there were several of these organizations that came into being and came up with a lot of housing solutions. And we really did not find anything that was out there that fit the vision that we were wanting to go after. So there were several communities that we looked into, over 70 communities that we were looking into, but we didn't find anything that would allow us to co-live with our kids in the same community. So Rajesh, next slide, please. So the housing options that we knew of when we started was, of course, your kid would live with you. As long as you lived, you could care for your kid. And that was the option for a very long time until we started doing the research. And we found that a lot of the parents were building the accessory dwelling units in their backyards. So that was an option that we learned about. But that was not for us because after us, our kid would still be alone in that unit, and we we couldn't burden our other kids or our family to take care of our kids when we were gone. Group home was something that we learned of, and that was not appealing to us as well. And we also found out that there were two other IDD housing options. One was like an equity model. For example, Clearwater Ranch or Big Wave Project. You could buy an apartment for your kid or a suite in a home for your kid to live forever. That would be their forever home. So that was one model that was out there. And the rental model, like the Sweetwater Spectrum, where you would perpetually pay rent for your kid to live there in a suite. So none of these appeal to us. So we came together, racked our brains, and you're going to hear what we have come up with next. Rajesh?
Thank you, Shailu. Yeah, so I get the privilege of presenting in 10, 12 minutes the work of many, many, many people that have spent enormous amount of time over the last 4.5 years. Let me start with a quick vision for our community. So there were 5 foundational principles that we used in terms of designing what is specially abled. The first is very important. It's an inclusive, integrated community. This will include both the IDD adults, we call them specially abled individuals, SIs for short, and they will live alongside not just their parents, but also other neurotypical individuals. So it's a true integrated community. We also wanted to make sure that our kids become independent. They're not forever just living with the parents. So transitioning them into their own home, making sure that we leverage SLS, supported living services here in California, to make sure that they can live independently and there is a professional management structure that is providing the oversight of the SLS providers. Third was thinking beyond just the housing portion. This is a community, so the emotional well-being of the kids as well as the physical safety is obviously very important. We want to make sure that we design the right type of environment for them, mind, body, and soul enrichment programs. And by the way, we don't know whether day programs is the right answer for everybody, employment opportunities are the right answer for everybody, or could we potentially create our own couple of micro businesses that will keep them engaged during the day. So whatever is going to create a very fulfilling environment for our SIs is an important thing as a design principle for us. Fourth, very, very importantly, this is where we are going to age in place. We want to be a support structure for each other and for each other's kids. And in the short period that we have kind of practiced co-housing, if you will, every time we get an opportunity, it is just pure magic to see how not just the SIs bond with other SIs, but also how they bond with other parents. And we want to create this tribe for our SIs so they feel very comfortable even when the parents are no longer around. And to do that, we need to obviously make sure that the intentionality of this community is protected over multiple generations. None of us are going to live forever. And when we pass away, we want to make sure that there are at least 19 other families that our SI is familiar with, and the right structure is set up for them to have a fulfilling rest of the life without the anxiety that we all have. So we started with these 5 principles. We quickly came together, acquired this piece of land. It's 2480 Oakley Road in Oakley, California. And for those of you that may not be familiar, it's called the East Bay area of San Francisco. This is a 4.6-acre site. There is a school on the north side, this Orchard Park School that you can see there. It is close to shopping in Brentwood. as well as the largest Costco that recently opened in Brentwood, largest in California, that is. There is a BART station not too far away. This comes under Contra Costa County, and it is the jurisdiction of the regional center of East Bay. And we've had a wonderful relationship over the course of the last 3+ years as we were ideating on this. And luckily, this particular site that we acquired also has a tentative map approved for 22 lots. So that cuts out a lot of time and can accelerate the development. Let me switch gears and talk a little bit about what we are thinking about in terms of the tentative map. One of the important design principles was this idea of parental oversight. What you'll see here is a lot, this particular lot most likely, and by the way, this is a tentative site plan. There's still a lot of discussions happening to firm this up, but there is basically 2 lots that are being combined to create a community center. We will have 20 lots and therefore room for 20 families to join as founders. Every lot has a duplex. And think of it as a parent home and an SI home attached as a duplex. Some of these SI homes will accommodate 2 SIs. Others may have enough room to support 3 SIs, and this would all be 3 master suites, if you will, or 2 master suites in that home. We've studied a number of different communities and the floor plans and the design principles that they were using. And the good news is everything that we do is going to incorporate sensory friendly design, both in terms of what is inside the home as well as what is outside. The outdoor space is just equally important, as we all know. And thinking about the long term and making sure that we have enough capacity in this community. So if you take, for example, 20 families, and just to play out an example, if each of them had 1 SI, we obviously would only need 10 SI homes in that example, but we're building 20 of them right off the start. So when all 20 families pass away and you get 20 new families over time, of course, we would have enough capacity to accommodate all the SIs, both the original 20 SIs as well as the 20 new SIs that are the children of the 20 new parents that are in the community at the time. And we want to make sure there is a diversity of choice for folks. There are 3 different models to choose from. Here's a rough idea of what these might look like. So model A will go on 6,000 square foot lots. So some of these lots are 6,000, others are larger, like about 7,000 square foot. And our current thinking is those that wanted a very small parent home and a 2 SI suite kind of a SI home, that could be accommodated in the 6,000 square foot lot. Model B basically gives the parents that wanted a slightly larger home to be able to still get a larger home at a single level, and also have the opportunity to have 3 master suite in a home in that SI home. So for example, an SI home over here, an SI home over here, and over on this side, that is all 7,000 square foot lots. These are the lots that could potentially be pre-designated to have 3 SI suites in that SI home. And then lastly, for those that opted for a larger home in the 6,000 square foot lots, they could have 2,200 or slightly even higher if they wanted, as well as, again, a 2-suite SI model. So all of this, by the way, was designed taking into account the choices that the current founders expressed, as well as a very large number of explorers have contributed towards this thinking. Again, it is in a tentative form. It is about to be firmed up in the coming weeks, but that just kind of gives you an idea of what this is going to look like. To put that in a picture, this is again an artist's rendering that was done. It does not actually show the community center or the clubhouse, but literally this is how the community is going to look like. The lots will be allocated on a first come first served basis based on the induction of the founder. Each family is basically buying a lot, building the duplex that has both the parent home as well as the SI home. We will have an HOA to manage the clubhouse, community house, all the common areas, and the gated property this is going to become. And last but very importantly, we are thinking about what's the right management structure that we need to form to put in place to make sure the right type of property management assistance is being provided. There is enough thought given to how the SI service providers are going to be supervised or managed, so to speak, if you will. And all of that is beginning to take structure as we speak here. One quick thing to also show is a directional cost estimate. Again, if you take the same three models that you saw, A, B, and C, we think about 1.16 million is going to be the cost of the two homes that are part of Model A, both the SI home as well as the parent home. It also includes the community center. All of these include the community center. It's a gated community. It's an intentional co-housing community. And you're getting and becoming part of this very extended family as you think about this particular community. Both models B and C, while they're slightly different, one has more land, if you will, 7,000 square foot lots and a slightly single level, both homes, both the SI home and the parent home. And if you look at the Model C, it's going to have a little bit more living space, but in two levels. And it's going to still have sufficient space for the SIs, for two SIs to live in their home. And we think it's going to be about 1.3 million. One of the things that was important for us is to design this thing so that we'll significantly lower the cost of getting in. And one of the things that we've been able to create here is you don't have to pay a big portion of that like we see for several other equity-based IDD communities out there. With 30% down, both at the time you join and over the course of the construction phase of this particular project. The minimum check size is probably going to look like 350K, again, paid over a 2.5 year period. And then for Model B and Model C, that will look closer to 390K or 400,000. And that is the rough idea of what the cost is going to look like. Like I said, the down payment is going to be spread over time through the construction phase. And when you close the house, when it's ready to for occupancy, at that time it effectively converts into your down payment for a mortgage if you choose to use a mortgage. From there, let's shift a little bit to looking at the timeline. So as I mentioned, we acquired this land in spring of this year. We are currently spending a lot of time. We've got a civil engineer on board. We've got one of the best architects in this area on board. We are ideating on what our floor plans are going to look like. We are making sure that we've got the city process of getting through design review kind of done. That's kind of ahead of us. We're going to get this map recorded. And of course, parallel path, we are going to look for both construction financing as well as a GC/builder that would help us do that. We think the rest of this year and going into early part of next year would be that. Next would be groundbreaking, and hopefully you'll all come and join us to celebrate this very momentous occasion that we will have probably in Q1, Q2 of 2026. And then comes the construction and delivery of homes as well as the community center. And we're targeting end of 27. It may extend into 28. So if we start today, right, this is how long things are going to take in California to bring it to life and have all of us live the dream that we started out with, that hopefully some of you will find to be attractive and join. Speaking of joining, we've created a very carefully thought out membership model that essentially has 3 steps. Today, you're listening to this presentation, which means you're an interested member. You'll get a lot of this material. You get invites to other events that we do during the course of the year. Those that are interested and feel that this is worth exploring for their specially abled individual, for their SI and their family, you can join with a very small one-time fee of $100, non-refundable. You will complete a small enrollment form. You'll actually get to hear from 2 founders or 2 founder families, and you have a chance to work alongside with us to make sure that you're exploring the fit for this particular community for your child and for yourself. You have a chance to get access to a lot of our material. We use Slack for communications. There's a bunch of Google Drives that essentially have enormous amount of data that we've collected over the course of the last 4 years. And then there's over the course of the year, almost every month, there is a special event that we do for just for explorers on a variety of topics, not just about specially able co-housing. There's been stuff about special needs planning, estate planning, all kinds of things that are important for us. And if you feel and get conviction over the 6-month period, you have the option to become a founder, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. Um, Obviously, we want to make sure this is the right fit. There is complete alignment in terms of the vision and the model. There is a fee and a financial commitment that is significantly higher. There is a one-time non-refundable buy-in fee of about $5,000. And then there's also about 30% of the total cost of the unit, like I showed in the previous slide, is the commitment that you're taking on. And there is a one-time payment, and it's going to be in the 6 figures in terms of what you would have to do to be able to join as a founder. That is obviously not ever to be taken lightly. We don't take it lightly because this is a commitment for a lifetime. And it's very, very important for us that there is complete alignment on the model. And we take enough time to make sure that all of your questions are answered. For those of you that are coming from out of state, like we did, coming from Illinois to California, there's a lot more things to consider. And obviously, we want to make sure that there is enough time given to all of this. Speaking of the member base today, we've been very, very fortunate to see many, many hundreds of families that have joined this crusade, that have helped us along the way. So what Shailu and I are talking about is the work of so many people over the last 4 years or so. Today, we have over 100 families that are joined as explorers that are going through this exploration. There are 8 founder families that have put capital and acquired land, acquired all these advisors, and are spending enormous amount of time bringing this to life. Out of the explorer families, 5 have raised their hand and said they want to join as members. So that basically leaves about 7 spots, 7 founder spots that are open, founder family slots that are open at this time. So that's the math that we're working with. We encourage you to obviously join soon. And there is no reservation, so to speak, that has been made, if you will, except for those that explicitly raised the hand, had the conviction, or have the conviction, I should say. And a great way to get to know each other is to make sure that you are actively participating. Just to give a quick idea of how we are organized, we've used key principles of a form of governance called sociocracy, where everybody is an equal, every voice is heard. If it's important to one of us, it's important to all of us. That's the principle that we work with, and it requires unanimity and complete convergence before we take a decision. Sometimes it takes longer, but that is part of the drill here. But very importantly, the real action happens in all of these individual circles. So
Shailu and I are part of the member management circle. She leads the member management circle. The land and building circle, again, the two of us are also part of that. And there's a lot of work going on in land and buildings. There's a very large group of people that are looking ahead outside of housing into SLS providers, day programs, and all kinds of other things that are important for us and for our kids, employment opportunities, so on and so forth. And of course, we've got a very, very cool support function, if you will, in our legal, finance, and operating model circle. All explorers are welcome to join one or more of these circles. A lot of families that feel this is important for them at this particular time join as an explorer, and usually one of them joins one circle, the other person might join a second circle, which is a great way to really get to know each other. The reality is that we need help in all of these circles and really it's the greatest way, I think, for us to get to know each other is to spend the time rolling up your sleeves and doing the work alongside both founders and other explorers, because after all, we're trying to do this for a lifetime. It's a lifetime of commitment, if you will, and it's important for us, like I said, about making sure that we are a good mutual fit. So in conclusion, this is a very unique solution that is designed to address the what after us. It is an integrated community. We are not about segregating our specially abled into their own housing environment. We really want to make sure it's an integrated environment. It is about independent living in the community, not just always in the protective shelter of the parents. So seeing them thrive in an independent setting is an important part of what we're trying to do here. It is designed to have constant parental oversight, something very, very unique that you're not going to find in any other community that we are aware of, at least in the US. And thinking about the safety and well-being, right, beyond just the housing part, it's not just physical safety, but also the emotional safety for the SI, as well as for the parents to feel like this is their tribe. This is what gives us their, feeling of completeness, if you will. And certainly beyond that, we have to think beyond housing about what will our specially able do, specially abled will do during the day. Is day program the right setting? Is an employment opportunity with one of our micro businesses the right setting? And when you think about this multi-dimensional case that we are making here, you'll find that SPAC or specially able co-housing is really the only one that really caters to every single one of these. I'm going to conclude with one quick slide, just reiterating our foundational principles. It's about co-housing, not a segregated environment, but a fully integrated community with other neurotypical folks, not just their parents. It's about creating an independent living setting. So while we are alive, we can see our SIs thrive living in their own homes with one or two roommates or housemates. We want to make sure that there is a broad set of programs in place for enriching their mind, body, and soul, not just for the SIs, but also as we age as parents. That we have a very strong support structure for each other and for our SIs. Everything is really fair game as we are thinking about conservatorship and trustees of S&Ts, and how does this community support that SI holistically over a long period of time. And like I said, very multi-generational by design. Right from the start, this is geared towards making sure as families pass and turn, new families can come in and they can be assimilated into this community. And hopefully we can set a good benchmark or example for lots of other people that are doing amazing, amazing things. We learn from them constantly. And hopefully we can share a thing or two about this idea of creating intentional, integrated, multi-generational housing for our loved ones as well as for ourselves. Hopefully this was interesting. If you are interested in joining as an explorer, please use this QR code that you see on the far top right. Any emails, if you've attended an open house, will have a link to how you can join as an explorer. It's also available on our website. And lastly, in the emails that we sent you, there was a survey link. We would love to hear and continue to ideate on refining our model. So please, please, please take a minute, fill out that survey. That way we can get some more guidance from everybody in terms of how to make this a special place. Thank you again. And Shailu, any final thoughts that you wanted to share? Thank you all once again. And if this is of interest, please join us and look forward to chatting with you guys soon.
Thank you, guys.
All right.